Hey guys, it's Victor. I'm continuing the series of videos to help inventors get to market. Last video was about vetting your idea and picking an idea that you can put your whole heart and mind into, and basically checking off a list of criteria that you need to look for so that you feel more comfortable pursuing one idea over the other. Before I get into the topic of today, I want to thank everyone for messaging me on LinkedIn, reaching out. I'd love to speak with you guys. And if you have any questions, if you're an inventor or want to become one, simply send me a message. I'll give you some advice regardless of what the scenario is. I want to see you guys successful. So anyway, the topic of today is actually setting goals. Now that you've picked an idea that you can put your energy into and you're motivated to do it, now you got to set goals. And there's two main ways to make money with your product. There's licensing, and then there's building a business of your own. Now, licensing often let's first get this out of the way. Licensing is where you go to a company that's already established, maybe for a long time, and you pitch a product in their category in hopes that they'll adopt that idea. And then they take the reins, they manufacture it, they market it, and they facilitate sales. And the way you get paid is through the means of a royalty, where they give you a percentage of whatever profits that they generated. And that can be very lucrative. Just know that when it comes to licensing, it takes a lot longer. It takes a lot less money to pursue licensing, but it takes a lot longer. Of all the deals I've seen come through, it takes on average 2 years to achieve a deal. It's one thing to get interest, which is always the starting thing you want to do when it comes to getting a licensing deal. You want to find interest. You want to get companies interested in what you have to offer. But then you're going to move into negotiations. You're going to answer questions, and that back and forth can take a good length of time, especially the bigger companies you work with. They're slower naturally. They're sometimes as slow as snails, depending on how big they are. What I've noticed is the bigger they are, the slower they are. And so getting through that negotiation phase, getting to an actual deal in writing, it just takes longer on average. I have seen deals come through in about 6 months before. And I've seen some take as long as 6 years, but the inventor didn't quit. So, there's something to be said about that. But on average, about 2 years. Whereas building a business, you can be in business in a matter of 9 to 12 months if you follow the right process. And that's the process I'm introducing to you guys. Most millionaires that I know and I speak with own a business. So I just wanted to state that fact. Licensing can be very lucrative, but building your own business in most cases will make you more money. Now, the caveat with building a business is that it takes more money to set up. Now, at this point, you've got to be the one to, find a manufacturer and do the marketing and make sure your prototype is everything it needs to be and go out and facilitate sales. And that, to me, is a very exciting process, but it isn't always exciting to everyone, okay? It takes a certain amount of work and grit to make it happen, but that's the route I suggest people to go if I see that passion and that energy. I don't want that energy to go to waste. I want them to put it towards a product that they can get to market themselves and make money on it, So there's pros and cons to both of them. But in summary, licensing takes more time to get traction, lead into a deal, but it takes a lot less money. Building a business often takes less time to start getting some revenues going, but it takes more money up front to build that business. So it's kind of like an inverse relationship in that sense. Now, if you can't decide, let's say you're willing to do the work, but you still are undecided. One thing that is common amongst both routes is having a presentation. Without a solid professional presentation, you won't be able to get the right attention from anyone. When it comes to building a business, you want to get attention from your future customers, and they're going to be looking at what you put out there, and basically, they may not voice it, but everyone's judging it. They're judging it. If it's something really cool, something they want to have, they're going to comment and like. And then you can start collecting emails and a myriad of things to confirm the demand. But in that regard, you need something to present. You need something appetizing. You need something appealing, something that people would want to buy, so you can start facilitating that kind of feedback. Of course, the best feedback is sales. So that's when you go into manufacturing and you start getting units and you offer them for sale. The best feedback is sales, of course. Now, as far as licensing, the presentation that you need to have is at least renderings. You at least need to have some digital renderings. You don't always need to have a prototype. It helps a lot because it shows that you're willing to put that extra effort in when you approach companies and such. But it isn't absolutely necessary. I've had deals come through that didn't have a prototype at all. They were just well presented. So just keep that in mind. Licensing, you can get away with really nice renderings. Sometimes we'll go a step further and make animations, but all of this is digital. It's not a physical item yet. Building a business, you're going to want to have a prototype because there's going to be so many instances where having a prototype helps you in facilitating sales, getting interest, finding investors, partners, and such. Once you have a prototype, it shows that you're past that level. You're past the point where, hey, you're serious. People know you're serious now. You've actually built it. It works. It looks great. You're serious. So it helps you in finding your partners, investors. Helps you get, good reputation with your customers and such. So I highly suggest when you're building a business to make sure to build that prototype before you start presenting. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get really good traction with digital renditions and such, but a prototype, trust me on this, it helps significantly. It also helps you to understand what the cost of goods is going to be when you go to your factory. You show them the product. You say, okay, here's how many parts are in its assembly. Here's the general material I'm looking for, and here's the size of it. They're going to be able to spit out some numbers as far as cost of goods, what's it actually going to cost. So like if you're ever doing a crowdfunding campaign, you'll be able to not only show this product working in a video demo, but you'll also be able to say, hey, we're raising $82,000 or whatever it is, based on how much you need to have to get into production and such. So prototypes are well suited for growing a business. When licensing, renderings are, in most cases are all you really need to do in your presentation. So I just wanted to leave you with those key points here. You got to have some goals. I'd say if you're wanting to go the licensing route, it's usually because you're not really wanting to run a business. You don't want to learn how to run a business. Or it just seems overwhelming. And if it's just overwhelming, then have a chat with Victor because there's a lot of ways to simplify the process to building a business. There's ways of reducing the cost of prototyping. There's ways of reducing cost of marketing, and there's ways of getting your costs down for production. There's a lot of clever ways you can go about doing it, but objectively, it does take more money. But again, you make more money in most cases because you're not giving away a large percentage of your profits to another company because you own it. You're the head honcho. You decide how big it becomes. So I'm going to leave you with that. Message me, okay? Feel free to message me if you have any questions. I've got a full-fledged team. We do prototyping. We have manufacturers set up. We've got a marketing team. And no matter where you're at in the process, feel free to reach out and I'll be able to assist you in one way or another. Sometimes it's just all you need is advice. And if that's the case, I'm welcome to it. So LinkedIn, contact me there, guys. And I'm wishing you well. Bye-bye.